Hello, my name is Carmelo Maramba, and today I will be talking about the evolution of Formula One. Back in 2004, my father, mother, and brother all went to Indianapolis to go watch their first in-person F1 race. For the past few months beforehand, my father had not really had a very good time. He was having a bit of a rough start to his year, and he was not in the best mood. But as soon as he stepped out of the car and heard those V10 engines revving before warming up for the race, he immediately turned to my mother and said, "I think I'm gonna pee my pants." His previous droopy and somber mood had turned into what my mother said was one of the biggest and brightest smiles that she had ever seen on his face. Formula One is an international car racing sport. Each car has a specific formula that they must follow, set in all these guidelines and mandates are set by the FIA. Each car has specific mandated parts, but some parts are whatever the team decides to put in the car. There are 10 teams, each with 2 drivers in their seats. They all compete in worldwide Grand Prix, and at the end of each race, depending on which position you place on the grid, 1 through 20, you earn points. At the end of each season, every car is competing for 2 championships. The Drivers' Championship, which is based on the individual amount of points that a driver earns each race, and the Constructors' Championships, where the team overall points is counted. Teams are constantly trying to fix their car and improve it to gain a superior advantage over everyone. Each of these changes are made every race and every season. This is dependent on the rules and mandate changes from and set by the FIA. Each of these mandates are changed all the time. Teams push what is legal and illegal according to these FIA rulebooks. The sport has evolved over the past 75 years, and in this speech, I'm going to talk about the 3 main topics that have evolved significantly: the cars, the drivers, and the teams. First, let's start with the cars. The cars are built by a team of highly skilled mechanics, aerodynamicists, and physicists. Each use a load of science and technology to build these basically rockets of cars. Current day cars have features that past cars didn't have, and past cars don't have features that current day cars have, such as DRS, drag reduction system. Each car has a new flap at the end of their tailwind, which allows them to go 30 miles an hour extra. Nowadays, cars use a different engine from what they used back then. Nowadays, they use a V6 turbocharged hybrid engine. Back then, they only used they used V12, V10, and V8. The reason for this change is because safety rules, which has changed a lot with current day cars. Current day cars are more modeled towards the safety of the driver, as you can see with the Halo safety device, which is basically a roll cage. They also have the Hans device, which is the head and neck support device. Drivers use this for their own safety. Back then, a lot of cars weren't very safe. They were all very, very fast, which led to a lot of crashes. As you can see with this picture, the cars have evolved significantly with the dimensions. Cars have significantly changed. Another big change is that cars have different tires. There's 3 different compounds: soft, medium, and hard. They also have 2 rain tires. The drivers. Now the drivers, there have been loads of drivers over the course of F1 75 years. You have legends like Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna, who have their own very unique style of driving, and many of their habits have been adopted by all these other drivers in today's racing. One major thing with current day drivers hone their bodies like a temple. They are treated as actual athletes. Teams hire specialists, nutritionists, and trainers to help them keep in tip-top shape. Back then, teams never did that. Drivers used to rely solely on their pure driving skill, and the only way they could hone it was by racing in other forms of racing sports. People like Fernando Alonso and Mario Andretti raced outside of F1. Many other drivers used to do it too. Nowadays, current day drivers like Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen and all the other current day drivers have access to the world's top racing simulators. Now the teams. There have been many teams over the course of F1. Some teams are still around, such as the legendary Ferrari and McLaren. You have other teams that have rebranded, like Williams. And then you have other teams that have completely left, like Lotus and Renault. All these teams nowadays have a team of strategists, which help the drivers race optimally. They help control the pace of the car, when to pit, when to change the tires. Back then, they didn't have that. They also could not communicate with each other as they did not have a team radio. Nowadays, drivers are allowed to communicate openly with the pit crew. Another few things, pit stop times have decreased in the past few years. This meaning that the time spent stopped has significantly decreased over these past few years. That being because the FIA has banned certain practices in the pits, such as mid-race refueling. They banned this in 2010 due to a lot of accidents and also a shortage and increase of price of gasoline. Now, with past teams never had a team of strategists or a radio communication with their pit crew. These teams had to rely solely on the driver's pure intuition of racing. When to pit, they had to always be ready and on standby when these drivers went to pit in. I want to thank you for listening to my speech, and have a good day.